Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome back to the show. It's great to have your company as the countdown continues to one of Europe's most prestigious middle distance races, the Arc de Triomphe, as the Irish and the British will invade Paris-Longchamp on Sunday and indeed Saturday. Who's going to steer us through all of this? Who's going to point us in the direction of winners? Well, the best French racing analyst is going to join us on the Final Furlong podcast. Sky Sports Racing's Laurent Barbarin is in ridiculously red-hot form at the race's website, knocking it out of the park with winners left, right and centre. So no pressure, Laurent. Ahead of the big weekend of racing, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling very relaxed because, to be honest, we know absolutely nothing about the race, about the Arc. I just know absolutely nothing, Emmet. This is an absolute puzzle. We don't know the ground, we don't know yet the draw, so we don't know much.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the podcast. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Good luck to you. We'll see you next time. Yeah, it is. It's one of the most open renewals I can remember for quite some time. And obviously, not having the draw yet is a little bit of a conundrum. So just for a refresher course, Laurent, for those of us who need the reminder, where do you want to be drawn in Paris-Longchamp and where do you definitely not want to be drawn? What would be a difficult one to overcome?
Well, you want to be drawn around stall 6, ideally, because the stall 6 has been very, very successful in the last few years. You can be drawn also around 2, 3, 4. Yes, 6, 5. When you start being drawn on the outside, it becomes a little bit more difficult, and then you need a very special horse to come on top. You need a horse that has been dominant, like Saki back in 2001, Triomphe in 2013. They were drawn in stall 15, but they were outstanding performers. And Dalakani was in 14 in 2003, Golden Horn in stall also 14 in 2015. The special Frankie's ride, on the outside. But around stall 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is okay.
Okay. So with that in mind, we're not going to have the draw until Thursday. We're not going to have the draw for all of the races on Sunday until Friday. So we're going to record another podcast on Friday to hopefully point you in the direction of loads of winners. But on what we know now, you were saying to me off air, we don't really know a whole lot. This is a very confusing picture for the Arc.
It is.
The betting on this side of the channel, at least anyway, is 4-1 Aventure, 4-1 Mini Hawk. They're the two that set the tone in terms of the pricing. Does that make sense to you? Does Mini Hawk deserve to be 4-1? Does Aventure, last year's runner-up, deserve to be 4-1 joint favourite?
I think Aventure, she's got a good record at Longchamp. She was very impressive in the Prix Vermeil. Aventure deserves to be 4-1. And Mini Hawk seems to be very special now. What she's got against her, it's going for the first time to Longchamp, but then we've seen the top class horses, in the past, they were able to overcome that sort of difficulty. And it seems to be fair. But I just found some horses at bigger prices a little bit unfair. Or maybe it's okay, but I just found some of them a little bit big. Okay. Well, who really stands out to you then as a horse that's too big a price? No, there's no real standout, but I just thought the French trio like Gezora, Daryz, Qualificar, horses like this are probably a little bit too big. Well, they seem to have a lot of ability. They've got a proven record at Longchamp also. And in my view, they are a little bit big, but that's okay. That will do me. I like the three-year-old this year, although I like the Graffard's runners, put it this way. It could be just Francis Graffard's year. Well, every time you look up, he's winning another race. So the two main ones for him are going to be the Oaks winner, the French Oaks winner, Gezora, who was second to Aventure the last day, Gezora, and then Daryz. Is Daryz going to run? Yes, he's going to run. That's the plan. He's going to run for the first time over a mile and a half. Highly talented, bred to stay a mile and a half, not bred to go on a very deep ground. You would not want the ground to be too soft. Definitely, the horse is from a family of backward performers, and as we go deeper into the season, the better he will get. So I just love this run last time behind Croix Du Nord, the Japanese Derby winner. I think if you rerun the race 2-3 times, I think Daryz would have won most times anyway. Yeah, I agree with you, and that was my view on that race that weekend. He's by Sea the Stars, one of the best Arc winners we ever saw. His dam is a Hong Kong Vase winner from memory. I know this because I was really keen on him for the Jumpment International, despite the fact that his full brother, or at least half brother, had finished stone last in his last ever run in the Jumpment International. So I should have known what was going to happen. He was going to be last in that race too. But that was a farce of a race, according to Aidan O'Brien. And anybody else who had a bet on a horse that wasn't called Ombudsman in that race. And he obviously proved that run was all wrong last time out. Do you think he will stay? Yes, no doubt about it. He's bred to stay. The way he races, the way he was closing the other day, I mean, it's 2 furlong more, but it should be It will be no problem. Yes, I was reading the trainer's comment as well. I mean, they have no doubt about his stamina. So it was just a matter of time before he was going to step up in trip. But with the family, he has to step up in trip, and he should even get better for stepping up in trip.
Okay, so if he gets a good draw, he's a major player. What about Gezora? A 3-year-old for France was runner-up in the race a year ago. Can she go one better?
Well, at least she won the Prix de Diane, which Aventure was not able to do the year before. So that's very interesting. But so far, so good. She's got that right profile to go into the Arc with a proper winning chance. She's a French Oaks winner, a good comeback run in the Prix Vermeil. She looked like she was well beaten by Aventure, and she was well beaten by Aventure, but she was closing very well. She was also coming back from a break. She had not run since mid-June, so it was a bit of a break to overcome. I thought she ran a very good race. She actually went faster than Aventure the last Furlong. And if you look at the pictures, you will see she was eased down as much as Aventure in the last 50 yards when the jockey saw Barcelona saw he could not catch Aventure. So it was a very interesting race, the Longchamp race, the Prix Vermeil. And the more I look at it, the more I like it.
It's not typical that we're going for horses that were eye-catching, but were evidently beaten in their ARC trials. Normally, you're going for a horse who won their ARC trial.
Yeah.
But it's such an open year that makes sense.
Yes, it's an open year with a lot of quality. We've had open years with average quality. There's no real standout anyway before the race. But what I like to see is horses when we saw very nice performances from horses in the spring. Normally, what we saw late spring, early summer, it's normally a very positive sign for the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. There's 4 or 5 horses like this in the race that I very much like. Very difficult to split. And there is another one like Quisisana, who's got a very different profile. But I saw some very good performances in the spring. Like Daryz winning at Longchamp, Gezora winning the Prix de Diane. Remember, tipped her, she was a good price. And there was also, what I was going to say, yes, Qualificar on a smashing race in the Prix Jockey Club. Okay,
so the ones we've talked about so far, are Daryz and Gezora very high on your shortlist?
Not as long as I have seen the draw. I want to see the draw first. It's very difficult, in an open race like this one, the draw are going to be a key element. And we are likely to have 16, 17 runners. From the time you reach that number of runners, you're more likely to have surprises at the finish. So the draw is a key element here.
Okay, well, let's talk about André Fabre's runners then, Qualificar. Very few people better than André Fabre to train an ARC winner. When you go back through the list of horses he's won the race with, a lot of them were not household names. And this one isn't a household name yet. Maybe he's about to become one. He was a good winner over Bay City Roller the last day. And for all that, I think people want to kind of scoff at that horse a little bit, and I can kind of understand why. He'd given Daryz a bit of a fright, and we both like Daryz. I think Bay City Roller is an okay horse, and clearly he ran a massive race behind Camille Pizarro in the French Derby. Does he have the attributes and the qualities needed to win an ARC in your mind?
Well, if André Fabre is taking him to the Arcs because he thinks he's got the attributes. So far, so good. He's got a profile that is very parallel to the one of Trampolino, who won the Arc in 1987 for André Fabre, using the same route, which is quite unusual for André Fabre, running his good 3-year-old in the Prix Guillaume d'Ornano at Deauville as a prep race for the Prix Niel itself, as a prep race for the Arc, but he's done it successfully with Trampolino. Trampolino was second in the Prix Jockey Club, like Qualificar. He was third in the Prix Guillaume d'Ornano, like Qualificar, and he won the Prix Niel, like Qualificar. Then he smashed the track record in the Arc 3 weeks later. So there is a bit of a parallel. So far, it's not as good as was Trampolino at this stage, because Trampolino had won the Grand Prix de Paris. But it's a nice parallel.
Well, he's out of an Oaks winner. She was 100-1 Oaks winner, but she won the Oaks all the same, and he's by a French Derby winner in Lope de Vega, who seems to be having a really good season as well. I thought the William Buick comments afterwards were really positive. He seemed to be a little bit surprised that he was as good as he was, and that he should have won by further had he gotten a clearer run.
Of course. You can see he was stuck on the rail. When I saw William Buick making the move, going 4 wide, it meant that he still had some horse under him. I thought at this stage, just when he was moving, he's going for it. He's going to win it. I remember because I was on the horse very much that day, and he did surprise André Fabre in the process, because André Fabre did not think he had such a sharp turn of foot, but the horse was able to quicken the last 150 yards. He did not win by a big margin, but he would have probably won by a couple of lengths, with a clear run. So that makes him a nice contender for the Arc.
He was one of a few winners you tipped on the Final Furlong podcast that weekend for Arc Trials weekend, so you did us a nice favour there. Anybody else from the French? Obviously, Sosie is going to be a big player in Andre Fabre's mind anyway. Yes. If he couldn't win the Arc a year ago, I don't know why he's good enough to win it now.
He looked a little bit sharper, more matured, faster this year when he won the Prix Gannet back-to-back. He won the Prix Gannet, the Prix Disparant, the 2 Group 1 in the spring at Longchamp. So, he did show something a little bit superior to what he showed last year. I think his comeback run in the Prix Four was very good, although he was beaten, but it was very good. The Japanese horse was 110% fit, while Sosie was probably 75% fit. So he will reverse the form with the Byzantine Dream. I'm certain of that. Other horses that I like, Quisisana, who was impressive in the Prix Jean Romanet. She's got this unusual profile, but she's got the right profile to go into the Arc. She's had injury. She's a 5-year-old mare, but she's very, very, very talented, this Quisisana. And then Croix Du Nord. You'll have to respect Croix Du Nord. Mini Hawk, obviously. And I'm not so, maybe wrong, but I'm not so keen on Calpana and Diavoletto and White Birch and so on. I think the main danger from across the pond, almost is Mini Hawk for Aidan O'Brien, for the French horses, and then the Japanese Croix Du Nord seems to be extremely talented.
Okay.
Well, he is. He won the Japanese Derby.
Yeah, well, for sure. And obviously the Japanese have been trying to win the Arc for a considerable period of time. And the closest they got maybe was when Christophe Soumillon was on board, and somehow a French filly that you tipped, I think, if I remember correctly. I remember watching it back in the day, came from the clouds to go and get up to win. Of the Japanese horses we've seen, and we've seen most of them prep in France now, who has really impressed you?
The old one. I think it was, although he was the winner by the shortest margin, but I think Croix Du Nord, the Japanese Derby winner. Byzantine Dream, I saw him at the Arc Trials. He was extremely fit, extremely fit. I don't think he's got any room for improvement after the Prix Four. Ali, he was let alone at Deauville in a race that, could be debatable, although Qualificar was third, but Qualificar was probably 60% fit on this occasion. But, to come on top of Daryz at Longchamp, Croix Du Nord, he's a serious horse. Champion 2-year-old, Japanese Derby winner. And he did show that he can handle the soft ground as well. So, good horse.
Okay, so aside from stall 6, which is the magic number you want, where do you want to be drawn on the day? The horses that you're keen to back, where do you want to see those horses drawn? We haven't seen a super dominant horse going into this race. So I'd like to be drawn not too much on the outside. I'd like to be within the first 8 stalls. From 3 to 8 would be an ideal. It would be an ideal draw, I suspect. 3 to 10 maybe. But 6, 7 is probably the best place to be when you've got 16, 17 runners. We're likely to have 17 runners. Okay, so 3 to 8 is the golden sweet spot that we're looking for.
It's one of the best places.
Of all the horses we've talked about now, if we were to do a short list of 5 in order of preference, first being the best, 5th being the one you're least keen on but you're interested in, who would those 5 horses be? I'm just going to go down the runners here. I like Quisisana. She's going to be 20-1 or something. You can get 33s right now.
Yeah, you can get 33 for an each way punt. I think definitely you'd have to respect Aventure, Daryz, Qualificar, Gezora, Croix Du Nord. So I don't know which one to take out here, maybe. Qualificar, Daryz, Gezora, Quisisana. You see I'm putting the 3 from Francis Graffard into the list here. And then possibly Croix Du Nord. I would, Aventure, she's got a massive chance. But is she going to be worth it at the price that she's going to be? She's going to be probably 3-1 the day of the race, maybe. So we will see. But the 3 from Francis Graffard at the moment, Qualificar, and then this Croix Du Nord. I think he's a very intriguing horse. Okay,
that is fascinating. Just on,
it's only French. Only French. Sorry, Emmet. Just apart from Mini Hawk. It's not that I don't fear the UK trained horses, but I do have a preference for the 3-year-old, and they mostly come from France and Japan.
Yeah, for sure. And Mini Hawk, to be fair, for all that we like her, she's a very short price for a horse who's never taken on colts before.
Definitely. That's the thing that bothers me a little bit. Soumillon has ridden the course, so she's okay with Soumillon, but it's, she's going to go in against specialists like Aventure. She's a real course specialist. Gezora ran a big race last time, really a very good race. And then Daryz also, he loves Longchamp and he's done well at Longchamp. So difficult, eh? It's a very difficult race to decipher.
Yeah, it's a fascinating race overall. There's going to be 8 Group 1s over the weekend. I'm sure Aidan O'Brien will have his eye on quite a few of those. He's in search of bettering his previous record-best season of 28 Group and Grade 1 wins around the world, which is just extraordinary in 2017. He's already on 19, so it looks like he's on track to be able to beat that, as long as the horses all stay sound and they run their races. But in France, you've got Francois-Henri Gaffard, and 3 of his horses are on your shortlist for the Arc. He's got at least 9 Group 1s this season. He really is an extraordinary talent. He's 10. He's an extraordinary talent.
Yes, very good. And, his stable has also taken a step forward with the Aga Khan horses. It was nice to see him coming into the story, taking over Alain Royer-Dupré. It was sort of new generation taking over with Francis Graffard. He's done extremely well with them. In a very short period of time, he has managed to... to take the full story into hands. I mean, about the pedigrees, the way he's been racing them, the way he's been running them. It's very interesting. It's a little bit different from Alain Royer-Dupré, but it has, put a new good boost into the Aga Khan stud yard in Chantilly, and he's done extremely well. I mean, he's always been a good trainer, but this year is just one of those years, that will be in the marble, I think. But if André Fabre win the Arc, the title is likely to go the way of André Fabre with the prize money. We'll see. We wait and see.
That'll be like Willie Mullins, Dan Skelton stuff if André Fabre manages to come and snatch the trainer's title away with a big race win towards the end of the season. Who knew we'd get a reference to jumps racing into this episode of the podcast? Given the fact that there are the 8 Group 1s over the 2 days, is there any other horses that we should be looking out for on the Saturday or the Sunday? You were just saying to me the big stayers race, the Prix de Cadaran, as a pathetically disappointing turnout so far.
Yeah, we've got only 3 horses left in at the moment. Another one has been, it's being supplemented. There could be a couple more horses supplemented tomorrow, but so far 4 horses are in the race, so it's a bit disappointing. But one of the horses I'm probably most looking forward to is, I would say this is Raif in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère for the Aga Khan stable, a winner of his 2 starts, including a Group 3 at Deauville, very impressive winner at Deauville, and then he's going for the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère, unless the ground gets too soft or too deep, which I don't think it will, but Raif seems to be a real nice horse.
Okay.
2-year-old.
Raif for the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère. It's obviously Gaffard.
Sorry?
Is it Gaffard is training him?
Yes, Gaffard for the Aga Khan, yes.
Okay, so that could be an 11th Group 1, assuming he hasn't won a Group 1 on the Saturday as well. Anything else that we should be watching out for?
No, the Prix, well, by the way, the Prix La Forêt is going to be a fascinating race because Zarigana may be back in action in the Prix La Forêt. Zarigana that we saw at Ascot. She was a heartbreaking second at Ascot in the Coronation Stakes, but she's going to come back certainly for the 7th Furlong Prix de la Forêt. So she's going to be very exciting to watch, I guess. And she's not going to go in just to run. If she goes in, it's because she will have a big chance to win the race. So you see, I'm very much focused on the Graffard stable because so far the year has been very good for him. And when you get the momentum like this, things normally turn into a good way on those big weekends. So, but those 2, Zarigana and Raif in the Lagardère, will be interesting to follow.
She did beat the Sioux Nation filly that Charlie Fellows trains and Bashir Watts owns in the 1,000 Guineas trial. But then obviously what happened in the French 1,000 Guineas, and she turns up to the Coronation Cup or the Coronation Stakes with this attitude of, oh well, she'll just win. And again, she doesn't. Like, is it just that as her owner said that she's just bonkers?
I think we just wait and sit and wait for Sunday the Prix La Forêt over 7 furlong, and she might just put everything back in place where it should be. She's very good. I think the slight drop in trip is going to help her a lot. She's very, very good. She's very good. She's not an outstanding racehorse, but she's a very good filly. She's a proper group 1 filly, and it's not because she was beaten in the Coronation Stakes. She remains a very high class filly. So if she turns up on Sunday, which is still in the balance, but if Graffard goes for it, it's because he thinks she can win.
Okay, memories of just how good Ramachuel was in that race a year ago, the daughter of Justify. If the Aga Khan filly can replicate a performance like that, we'll all be happy. But I don't know if I can trust her. But hey, every time I look up, Gaffard is having another winner. Laurent, which is the horse you're most excited about seeing this weekend?
It would be in the Arc. I'd like to tell you once I know the draw and everything, but probably the most exciting, the big prospect is this 2-year-old Raif. We'll see if he's the big deal or not on Sunday in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère. This is certainly it could be a real big thing on the making. We'll see. But he's from a sprinter family. He may not be a classic prospect in the making, but he could be a bit of a special horse too for the future. Or it's just on Sunday. It's a Group 1 already on Sunday. So we'll see. Raif
for the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère is one to be keeping a very close eye on. You're going to be writing great content for the At The Races website, but also you're going to be there for the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Yes. All coverage, every single race live on Sky Sports Racing.
Yes, it will be good. We've got some good racing on Saturday to Group 1, the Royal Lieu, and the Prix du Cadran, and then the Prix Daniel Windenstein. We've got the Prix Dollar also on Saturday, some good races. We're going to see Alcantor in action in the Prix Daniel Windenstein. I think he's got a big chance, Alcantor. That's one also, certainly to note, Alcantor for André Fabre. And then, it's going to be a great 2 days. Very good.
And how many Group 1s are you expecting this new Christophe Soumillon, Aidan O'Brien partnership to come in and sweep? They took 2 last year, the 2 of them.
Yes. I don't know, maybe 1.5. No, I'm just kidding. I just know. No, maybe I'd like to see, but the problem with Aidan O'Brien at this stage is he has about 6 horses left in every Group 1 of the weekend, so you're not really sure which one's going to go for it. But obviously, they're always he's always a man to watch very closely, and the less he wins, it means maybe more chances for the French to win. So it's difficult. I don't know. Maybe 1 on the Saturday and maybe 1, 2 on the Sunday, if more. It's no fun for the other.
That's what the 2 of them did a year ago. Christophe was on board Grateful on the Saturday when she won the Group 1, the sister to Delacroix, and then Camille Pizarro in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère. All right, it's going to be fascinating. Laurent, I really appreciate you coming on the show and joining us to give us the punting pointers, the cheat sheet guide to the Arc de Triomphe. We're going to be doing plenty more of these between now and the end of the season as well, which hopefully you'll enjoy. Laurent, you should be following this man on X. If you're not already, you should be. And just at this point, is there even a point in studying form? Just what does Laurent fancy? What's Laurent tipped back at line? What does Andy Newton fancy in the big race on Saturday? And what does Laurent fancy? Do a double. That's the easiest way of doing it. Laurent, enjoy Paris Longchamp. Enjoy the Arc. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you, Emmet. See you soon.
Thank you, my friend. And make sure you smash a like on this video, please. Likes and shares are much appreciated for the podcast apps as well. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again very, very soon with the Final Furlong podcast. From Laurent and I, look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong podcast, independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.